To raise a fraction to a negative power, use the equivalent positive power and then interchange the top and the bottom. Now, I'll try to explain here if you can get why. So, a over b to power negative n is equal to 1 over a over b to power n, and this is equal to 1 over a to power n over b to power n. Now, if you remember your knowledge on the division of exponents, this is the same as 1 divided by a to power n over b to power n. This knowledge on division of fractions. That's what I meant. So if you remember knowledge on division of fractions, 1 divided by that is same as this, what I have in green. Now, if you divide a fraction, what do you do to the last fraction? If you divide fractions, you get the reciprocal of the last fraction and change the division to the multiplication. So what we end up with here is 1 multiplied by b to power n over a to power n, which is the same as b over a to power n. Now, I know some of you may be lost in this process, but what I want you to do is don't panic, because no one will ask you to rewrite everything that I've written here, trying to explain here. What you're required to know is just that if you have this a over b to power negative n, that will be equal to that. Okay? So basically, if you have a fraction to a negative power, what you need to do is use the equivalent of the positive power, and then interchange the top and the bottom. So here, our power is n, right? Of course, it's negative n on the left. So what you're doing is you're ignoring the negative and just using n here on the right. But now look at what you're doing on the fraction a over b. We interchange the top and the bottom to end up with b over a. So in short, what you're saying is this. This is the most important thing that you need to know. So a over b to power negative n is equals to b over a to power n. This is the most important thing that you need to remember. So if you can't follow through the process that I've used here to explain what's happening, all you need to know is just that, because this is what you're going to apply to solve a couple of problems here. Okay, so let me start by working out these questions here. Now here, remember what we said is we are going to use a positive exponent, so basically, and then we get the reciprocal of this fraction. Okay, use the equivalent of the positive power and then interchange the top and the bottom. So if we interchange this, we're going to end up with 2 over 1, and then you just ignore the negative. So that will be our answer. And then you can simplify that. Of course, 2 divided by 1 is 2, and 2 to the power 1 is just 2, so the answer will be 2. Here we'll do the same thing. Get the reciprocal of 1 over 4, which is 4 over 1. And then ignore the negative and just write the power there. So what you end up with 4, just 4, because 4 divided by 1 is 4, and 4 to the power 1 is just 4. That's your answer. Here we're going to do the same thing. Interchange the top and the bottom, so 3 over 2. And then ignore the negative and just write the power. Now this is equal to 3 to the power 2 over 2 to the power 2, which will be equal to 9 over 4. And then in the last question, you'll have interchange the top and the bottom, so you have 4 over 3, Now the negative to the power 3, which will be equal to 4 to the power 3 over 3 to the power 3. And the thing here is, it's everything to the power 3, everything in the bracket to the power 3. So 4 over 3 over 3 to the power 3. And then you can work that out, which will be, you can use your calculator, so that will be 64 over 27, 9 over 27. So that's how you use that formula to simplify expressions like this one.